Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into something really fascinating, the psychology of confession. Now, hold on, we're not talking about it in a religious or legal way. Instead, we're looking at it as this incredibly powerful tool for getting from inner conflict to real, genuine peace. We're going to see how simply acknowledging our hidden faults can totally change us from the inside out.
So, let's just start with a pretty direct question. What is hidden inside you? I mean, we all have things, right? Mistakes, regrets, feelings we've pushed way down that we'd rather not face. Well, according to the framework we're exploring today, that stuff doesn't just, vanish. It sticks around, and it actively shapes our inner world. And that's exactly where our journey begins. All right, so our first stop is to explore this inner world, what's sometimes called the darkness of the subconscious. I know, it sounds a little dramatic, but honestly, it's a universal human experience. It's something we can all relate to. So what exactly is this darkness? Well, it's basically the buildup of everything we push down. All those unresolved emotions, the faults we don't want to admit to. Think of it like a heavy chest we're all carrying around. Over time, the weight of it just creates this huge internal conflict. And the key to unlocking that chest, to finally lightening that load, is one single, powerful psychological act. And this is where the core idea of this whole explainer comes in, confession. Now, it is absolutely crucial to understand we are not talking about this in a religious sense or in a courtroom. Here, confession is purely a psychological tool, something for personal growth. So in this framework, confession is really a tool for cleansing the subconscious. It's the simple but incredibly difficult act of facing those hidden faults and suppressed feelings head on. It's all about radical honesty, but not for anyone else. This is for yourself. So what happens when you actually do this? Well, the effects can be absolutely transformative. First up, as you see here, it frees up all those suppressed emotions, releasing all that pent-up energy. Second, it dials down the defensiveness. I mean, it makes sense, right? When you're not hiding something anymore, you have nothing to defend. And that leads to the third and maybe the most profound effect. It creates real inner harmony, aligning what you know consciously with what you feel subconsciously. This process is, in a very real way, a journey from darkness into light. It's a fundamental shift in our inner state. So let's take a look at what that transformation actually looks like. This slide just lays it out so perfectly, doesn't it? It's the before and after. On the left, in the darkness, you've got this internal pressure cooker, suppressed emotions leading to defensive behaviors, all of it fueled by inner conflict. But then look over on the right, the light. The moment you release those emotions, that defensiveness just melts away and becomes an openness to correction. And that inner battle, it finally ends, and it's replaced by peace. It's just a powerful chain reaction. So how do we actually walk this path? Well, it pretty much boils down to these 3 courageous steps. First, just simple acknowledgement, seeing the fault clearly for what it is. Second, confrontation. You gotta face that inner darkness directly, no excuses. And it's only through that direct confrontation that the final step even becomes possible. Transformation, where that darkness itself actually becomes a source of light. And this quote, wow, it just brilliantly illustrates the core idea. Let's just let that sink in. The act of acknowledging a fault turns the accumulated inner darkness into light. The key thing here isn't about destroying or getting rid of the darkness. It's about transforming it into something positive. You know, this whole transformation, it builds something completely new inside of us. This newfound light isn't just some temporary feeling of relief. It actually becomes a solid foundation for a much more stable and peaceful way of living. Think of it this way. That self-awareness and that inner peace become the bedrock for your future growth. So instead of being weighed down by a hidden past, you now have this stable foundation that you can build lasting, positive change on top of. And this new foundation, it's built on 3 pillars that all connect. It starts with a new openness to correction, which lets you genuinely improve yourself. This, in turn, leads to a lasting sense of peace, an inner calm that isn't so easily shaken. And when you put those 2 together, what do you get? True psychological balance, a state where your inner world is finally whole and working together in harmony. So, what's the ultimate destination of this journey? I mean, where does this path of confession and transformation actually lead?
Well, the ultimate result is true inner harmony. It's that state where what you consciously know and believe is finally in perfect alignment with the deeper currents of your subconscious. The internal battle is just over. There's just a unified, peaceful self.
At the end of the day, this journey from darkness to light isn't about trying to achieve perfection. It's about becoming whole. It's a continuous process of self-awareness and courage. So the real question isn't if you have darkness inside. It's more like, how will you choose to find your light? Thanks for tuning in.